Welcome back to Old Charles today. We're diving deep into the fascinating story, history, and value of the United States $1 dime from 1997. Whether you're a casual collector, a history lover, or just someone who found a 1997 dime in your pocket change, you're going to want to watch this until the end. The Roosevelt dime has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1946, first minted to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. His image replaced the Mercury dime, and ever since, the Roosevelt dime has remained one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. Now, the 1997 dime belongs to this long-running series, struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. At this point in U.S. coin history, the composition of the dime was copper-nickel clad, meaning a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This gave the dime durability while keeping costs down compared to earlier silver issues. It's important to note that by 1997, silver dimes were no longer produced for circulation. Only special collector's sets carried silver strikes, such as proof coins minted in San Francisco. Now, let's talk about value. A regular 1997 dime that you find in circulation is generally worth 10 cents, its face value. That's because billions of these were produced, making them common. However, collectors know that condition, rarity, and mint marks can change everything. 1997 P dime, Philadelphia mint *** over 1 billion struck. In circulation, it's worth face value. But in mint state condition, MS65 or higher, it can fetch $2 to $5 from collectors. 1997 D dime, Denver mint *** also over 1 billion struck. Circulated value is face value, but uncirculated coins can sell $4 to $6, depending on grade. 1997 S proof dime, San Francisco mint ***. These were made exclusively for collectors, with about 2 million struck. A standard clad proof sells $4 to $5, while the silver proof version can be worth $10 to $15 depending on condition. Rare errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or missing clad layers, can skyrocket in value. Some error dimes from this era have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. Collectors use the Sheldon grading scale from 1 to 70 to determine value. A well-worn 1997 dime might grade at good, G4, and is still worth only face value. A lightly circulated coin ** in extra fine, XF40, could be worth slightly more to collectors who need a filler. Mint state, MS65 or higher, ** is where the value rises, since sharp details, original luster, and no signs of wear are prized by collectors. From San Francisco, especially silver proofs, are graded separately and valued much higher because of their mirror-like finish and sharp strike. For most people, the 1997 dime is just pocket change. But for collectors, it represents an important part of the Roosevelt dime series. Adding a high-grade 1997 P, 1997 D, and 1997 S proof to a collection helps complete a modern set. If you're lucky enough to find an error coin or a pristine example with full torch lines, often referred to as full bands on reverse, that's where real value lies. So, the 1997 US $1 dime may not make you rich overnight, but in the right condition, it can hold more value than you might expect. For everyday circulation finds, it's worth face value. But in mint state, proof, or error form, this small coin can bring big rewards to collectors. To truly understand the story behind the 1997 dime, we need to travel back more than 50 years earlier. The dime, as a denomination, has existed in the United States since 1796, when the very first draped bust dimes were struck. Over time, the design of the dime went through multiple transformations: the capped bust dime, the seated Liberty dime, the Barber dime, and the Mercury dime. Each reflected the artistic style and cultural values of its era. By the early 1940s, America was in the middle of World War II, and President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was leading the nation through not only global conflict but also recovery from the Great Depression. Roosevelt was admired for his leadership, but he was also deeply connected to a major public health cause: the fight against polio, a disease that he himself had suffered from. After his death in April 1945, the U.S. Mint and Congress wanted to honor Roosevelt in a lasting way. Instead of placing his image on a larger coin like the quarter or half dollar, they chose the dime because of its connection to the March of Dimes, a national campaign that Roosevelt had championed to raise funds for polio research. This was a symbolic tribute, linking Roosevelt's legacy to one of the most important charitable health initiatives in American history. So, in 1946, just 1 year after his passing, the Roosevelt Dime was introduced. Designed by John R. Sinnock, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, the dime featured Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. From 1946 to 1964, Roosevelt dimes were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver dimes are highly sought after today because of their intrinsic metal value as well as their historical charm. However, due to rising silver prices and the coin shortage crisis of the 1960s, the U.S. Mint shifted its dime composition starting in 1965. From that point on, dimes were made from a clad composition, ***, a pure copper core covered with layers of copper-nickel fast forward to the 1990s. By then, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for more than 50 years with almost no changes to its design, except for small adjustments like mint marks. The 1990s were a period of massive coin production in the United States. Technology at the U.S. Mint had improved, allowing billions of coins to be produced efficiently each year. In 1997, 3 major U.S. mints struck dimes: the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark at that time; the Denver Mint, D, mint mark; the San Francisco Mint, which struck proof coins for collectors, including both clad and 90% silver proof dimes. The 1997 dime itself might look ordinary to most people, but it carries the weight of more than 2 centuries of American dime history and more than half a century of the Roosevelt Dime series. It represents the ongoing legacy of Roosevelt's fight against polio, America's transition from silver to clad coinage, and the mass-production coinage era of the late 20th century. Another interesting piece of history is that in the 1990s, collecting coins was beginning to grow again in popularity. The U.S. Mint was preparing for its new 50-state quarters program, launched in 1999, which would later spark a major collecting boom. The dime, however, remained unchanged, quietly continuing its long tradition. So, while the 1997 dime may seem small, it's part of a huge story, stretching back to America's early coinage, through Roosevelt's leadership in World War II, to the modern minting era of the late 20th century. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. You see, while the 1997 dime is common, with over 2 billion coins struck **** across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, its condition is what separates an ordinary 10-cent piece from a collectible worth several dollars, or even more in rare cases. Collectors use a grading system called the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70 ***. This scale was developed in the late 1940s by Dr. William Sheldon and later adapted to modern coin grading by professional services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Let's break down what this means for the 1997 dime. These are coins that have been heavily circulated. A 1997 dime in this condition will show major wear. Roosevelt's hair details will be flat, the torch lines on the reverse will be faded, and the overall surface will look smooth. At this stage, it's just pocket change, still worth only 10 cents here. You'll still see wear, but the main features of Roosevelt's portrait remain visible. The inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust, are clear. On the reverse, you'll notice the torch, olive branch, and oak branch are still distinguishable, though lacking detail. Collectors usually don't pay a premium for coins in this condition unless they are rare errors. A dime in this grade shows only light wear. The design elements are mostly intact, and the coin may still have some original luster left. These are the kinds of coins collectors might keep as fillers in their albums while searching for higher grades. To this level, the 1997 dime looks sharp with only slight traces of wear on the highest points of Roosevelt's cheekbone or the reverse torch. Many collectors start to take interest at this condition because it indicates the coin spent little time in circulation. This is where things get exciting. A dime in mint state, meaning it never entered circulation, shows no wear at all. Instead, it will display full mint luster, the shine that coins have fresh from the press. But within mint state, there are levels. MS 65 and higher ***. These are gem-quality coins with sharp details and outstanding eye appeal. A 1997 dime graded MS 67 or MS 68 can be worth significantly more than face value, sometimes reaching $20 to $50 or higher in auctions. Special mention must go to the 1997 S-proof dimes. Proof coins are struck differently. They are made with polished dies and special planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish and frosted details. The clad proofs are collectible, but the silver proofs are especially sought after. In perfect condition, graded PR 70 Deep Cameo, These coins can sell for $20 to $50 each, depending on market demand. One special condition factor unique to Roosevelt dimes is the full torch designation, sometimes called full bands. This refers to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side of the dime. If these bands are fully struck, with no wear or weakness, the coin receives the coveted FT designation. Collectors will pay a premium for a 1997 dime with full torch lines, especially in high mint state grades. Another critical aspect is surface quality. Even a coin that was never circulated can have bag marks, scratches, or spotting from storage. That's why grading services play such an important role. They evaluate luster, strike, marks, and eye appeal to assign a precise grade. So when we talk about the condition of the 1997 dime, we're not just saying shiny or dull. We're talking about decades of coin grading history, collector standards, and even minting technology. The higher the grade, the sharper the strike, the stronger the luster, and the fewer the marks, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes.